Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this, our 15th session of our Circular Economy webinar. My name is James Baker. I am the Senior Circular Economy Specialist for ADB, and I'm looking after our circular economy and our ocean plastics projects. ADB takes the circular economy and takes the marine plastics challenges very seriously, and we are investing heavily both as technical assistance programs, but also as sovereign and private sector loans. We're developing digital solutions, working closely with our host countries of Thailand, Vietnam, Philippines, and Indonesia, as well as regionally. We are using our technical assistance activities to bring you these webinars as a medium to learn from activities, to learn from policies around the region, around the world, so that we can share best practice, share learning examples, and help us all move forward, address plastics in the value chain, reduce the use of difficult to recycle plastics, and eventually reduce the plastic burden of the ocean. At this point, I would like to introduce you to our activity today. We're very happy to welcome Mark Cox from Coca-Cola Beverages Philippines. Coca-Cola takes their responsibility for plastic management very seriously, and no more seriously than they do here in the Philippines. We were very lucky earlier this year to visit Mark's site, to experience the PETValue plant running, seeing bottles being recycled and turned back into plastic bottles. A very exciting project. Mark has a wealth of experience to share, not only about this project, but about Coca-Cola's wider activities. He is the Director of Stakeholder Relations for Coca-Cola Beverages, but he is also sits on the board of the joint venture of PETValue, which is based down in Rizal, and is a joint venture between Coca-Cola and Indorama Ventures. Indorama Ventures was the recipient of one of ADB's first blue loans, 150 million, specifically into bottle-to-bottle recycling facilities. So very exciting. Mark is an attorney by training, although we don't hold that against him, and started his career at Ocampo Law, has been educated in the Philippines and holds a BA. So Mark, please, I'm very excited to see your presentation. If you can lead off. If everybody can ask their questions in the chat, we will get to those questions and address them after Mark's presentation is completed. Thank you very much. Mark, over to you.
Thank you, James. Yeah, thanks for the great introduction. And yes, good to see the ADB team and yourself again, albeit virtually this time. It was earlier this year that we hosted your team to see the facility in Cavite, which is PETValue Philippines, our country's first bottle-to-bottle PET recycling facility, which we're very proud of. Now for this afternoon, thank you for having us share more about what we've been doing on the side of sustainability over at Coca-Cola Beverages Philippines. And our topic today is the power of partnerships in fostering a circular economy. And thank you for saying I have a wealth of experience. I'm still learning. I was just a little bit ahead in terms of raising my hand and doing the work for the company on this side. So I'm happy to share what we know so far, what we have observed so far, what works and what can work more, what needs to be scaled up. And some examples of the partnership opportunities that we've had so far, and how we can scale that up and how we can contribute more together, collectively, on this journey towards establishing a circular economy for this particular discussion around PET packaging material. All right, so let me start. Just give you an overview. Good afternoon again to everybody. Or as we like to say, Coca-Cola, good morning, whatever time of day. We just want to keep the energy high. So hopefully everybody's had their post-lunch coffee, and we're all ready to participate. And hopefully after this, you get to know more of what we have known so far on this side of things, and come off the session with a little bit more information that you can also share to others to help towards environmental stewardship. So what we'll have for you today is a little bit of a background and context of the Philippine situation, particularly the EPR law just passed. And then I will share more about our company's profile, CCBPI, and then our joint venture partnership, which is now PETValue Philippines, and then the samples of partnership programs towards establishing the circular economy around PET bottles. All right. So, and by the way, I'd like to thank my colleague Camilla, who's here with me right now, helping me with the presentation. So thanks, Cam. Okay, let's start. Just to give you a brief background, again, as a refresher of where we are in the Philippines. So the Philippines, we were recognized as the third largest contributor of plastic waste in the recent surveys and studies that came out. And as a result, the government really wanted to do something about this problem. And in the course of that, the EPR bill back then was pushed and being discussed. Now, the EPR law, as it is now, took on a few different forms before being finalized and passed in 2022. It lapsed into law last August 12, 2022, and it requires producers to be environmentally responsible throughout the life cycle of their products with plastics packaging. And what does this mean? So producers must ensure these plastic products do not end up in landfills and must be reused, recycled, or allowed to biodegrade. And then this now requires action on the part of the entitled, the obliged entities. Okay. Going back to how it came about, how it was shaped. So the legislation evolved since it was first introduced. Initially, the government wanted to impose tax or fiscal measures on plastics, the use of plastics, as a solution to the plastic waste problem. Now, in the course of discussing with industrials, plastics users, and various stakeholders, from that prohibitive or highly restrictive model, now it's more of hearing out what the obliged entities have as their EPR plan, so Extended Producer's Responsibility Plan or program. And with this, we had a bit of our own journey as well, interacting and engaging with stakeholders through several engagements and dialogues with our lawmakers and the policy makers. Our company, CCBPI, was able to contribute to the evolution of the bill. Instead of what we initially had as a tax or a penalty, the final version of the EPR sets out the obligations of stakeholders now to recover, collect, divert, and recycle plastic waste. It's broken down into two major categories, rigids and flexibles. And for us, the bulk of our primary plastic packaging is PET, which is under the rigids category. So again, this is also an example of the partnership that we've had with the policymakers as their stakeholders on the matter of how we contributed to the crafting and shaping of the law. Before we move on, I just like to also give everybody the salient points of the EPR law. So I mentioned earlier the two main divisions, rigids and flexibles. What does this include? Sachets, labels, and other flexible packaging material. Rigid plastic packaging products, including containers for beverages, food, and promotional items as well. This was quite controversial. It's included plastic bags and polystyrene. Now, what do the obliged enterprises or entities have to do? One, we have to declare our annual plastics footprint. So that's the basis of the target. The target for collection for companies starts at 20% this year and it tops out at 80%. So that's the maximum target that we have as entities, obliged entities. And then we have to meet the recovery and diversion targets. I'm sure all those who have submitted their EPR programs have included there various types of recovery programs, whether in bulk, community-based, with partners, with NGOs, and that's what we'll get into later when we have the samples of the partnerships that we've had. It has to be a registered EPR program, and we all had to register the EPR program. I think that was back in February, which was the due date, and we had to register it to the DENR. To this date, though, and we've been monitoring this and coordinating the DENR regularly, they have not yet responded or replied with comments or with an acceptance or approval of the EPR program that we've submitted. So this is something that we are actually looking out for, and we are in constant coordination with the DENR on this as we eagerly await the response on the EPR program that we submitted. And of course, this has to be auditable, so we have to submit an annual audited compliance report, including the plastics packaging footprint, the amount of plastic we've recovered, the recovery rate, and the EPR program compliance. Okay, so that's a brief refresher on the EPR law, how it came about, how it is now, and what companies or where companies are at. So I think all of us obliged entities are right now just waiting for the feedback from the ENR on the EPR programs that we submitted. Nonetheless, I'm sure all of the obliged entities are very busy with their own programs, as we are here at CCBPI. So at CCBPI, I just wanted to start by saying that sustainability is at the core of our operations. And let me give you a snapshot of our presence in the Philippines. So we've been here 110 years, but very, very soon we will actually celebrate our 111th year. Coca-Cola itself, the product, just celebrated its 137th anniversary last May 8th, Monday. And I believe our anniversary in the Philippines is also in May. So we turn 111 this year. We are present in 19 bottling plants, manufacturing facilities all across the Philippines. So for those of you who see those manufacturing facilities, that's us, CCBPI. And on top of that, we have 70 distribution centers, which we use to transit the finished goods all across our value chain partners. In terms of our headcount, we are approximately 10,000 associates strong, and we service around 1 million traditional retail outlets, mostly our community sari-sari stores, and about approximately 6,000 key accounts. So that's a snapshot of how we are situated in the Philippines since we started 111 years ago. Now, going back to sustainability, I will just give you a brief run-through of the focus areas that we have. We want to always strongly deliver on our commitments to our communities and the environment. And we're always here to support the communities. We believe that we're only as strong and as good as the communities that we serve. So in times of calamities, in times of crisis, we want to always be there and be able to respond to the needs of our communities, particularly with water. Every time there's a typhoon, an earthquake, during the COVID lockdowns, we made it a point to always have water available for those who need it the most, those who are affected by the calamities. Our frontliners during the first few months of the lockdown, we want to make sure that they had access to this. And because of that, I'll tie that in with the use of water. Of course, water is a very important raw material for our manufacturing process, and we always strive to have continuous improvement on our water efficiency ratio. Just to help share the accomplishments of our manufacturing team, we were recognized as having best-in-class water stewardship program, I think a couple years ago, by the European Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines. So our team is very proud of that, and we continue to improve on this. Clean energy is, of course, also a focus area for us. close to 65% of our total energy requirement right now is sourced from renewable energy. We use a lot of solar panels where we can retrofit the roofing of our facilities. Already have 14,000 solar panels installed, and we have more programmed in the coming months. Trucks. A bit of trivia, we do have a lot of trucks. I think we have, as a single entity, one of the most number of trucks, fleet, no? In the Philippines, because we use this for distribution. It's company owned. That's why we have a lot of it. I think combined our own company owned trucks and our third party trucks, daily we use about 3,000 trucks. And because of this, we're very much conscious of emissions. So our trucks are all Euro 4, Euro 5 compliant, and we want to ensure cleaner emissions for our fleet. They're on the road daily. Safety is, of course, a primary concern for us. Road safety, pedestrian safety, commuter safety. We try to work with other partners in this one as well. Packaging innovations, we'll talk about that in more detail. So I'll just breeze through this slide on packaging innovation. And we can go ahead and talk about our program, our banner program for sustainability, which is World Without Waste. So World Without Waste is the Coca-Cola Company's initiative, which was launched in 2018. And its goal is to sell, to recover and recycle each and every bottle that we sell by the year 2030. It's anchored on three fundamental pillars: design, partner, and collect, recycle. So design, I'll talk about it in the next slide. It's packaging innovation. If you see some of the brands that are recognizable to you here, let me give you a bit more detail. So Viva was the first rPET packaging material that we use, and actually the first in the Philippines. So we launched the first beverage brand in the Philippines made from 100% recycled plastic in 2019. That's the Viva Eco Bottle SKU. And it was followed by other SKUs, and more will actually be launched in the coming months. In the same year, 2019, we also changed the Sprite from the iconic green bottle to clear. Why did we do this? Because the clear bottle is actually the recyclable bottle. We'll talk about that later when we go in our recycling and collection program. For 8 o'clock, yes, 8 o'clock, the powdered juice drink, we've exited that sachet business already. The last run for that was last year. So it's packaged in sachet. And if we're talking about circular economy, there is no recycling process yet that is available to us. Will allow us to recycle sachet packaging back as sachet packaging material. So we took that decision to exit the sachet business due to the challenges in recyclability of that packaging material. And then in 2021, we also transitioned use of plastic straws to paper straws for our Tetra products, Minute Maid, and NutriBoost. So that's design. Now we go to partner. This is just an intro slide, but we'll talk about more partnerships later. So partnership is all about helping build the network for collection and make recycling accessible. And we can only do this by forging stronger partnerships with our stakeholders, with our members of our community. In the Philippines, our banner program for CCBPI is called Tapon to Ipon, Basta Claro, Panalo. And we partner with all of our value chain partners, from the general trade, sari-sari stores, to key accounts, to LGUs, to NGOs. It's meant to address a couple of items, or three items, based on a study that we had commissioned before we launched our PET recycling facility. One is the low awareness of our communities and our consumers and the Filipinos about recycling and recyclability. The second one is about access. So if you already know about recycling, you want to help recycle, you segregate at home, but you don't have access to where to bring it to make sure that it's recycled. So awareness, access. And then when we partner with members of our value chain, we're able to accelerate. So we meant to address that one with this program. Okay, of course, building the circular economy we need the help of all parts of the community or members of the community. And as we like to say in Coca-Cola, we're happy to lead the way, we have to bring innovation, but we cannot do it alone. We cannot make it successful all by ourselves. So the power of partnerships with local government units, NGOs, customers, and consumers are foundational in making our World Without Waste vision a reality and a success. So we have launched initiatives again with partners to drive sustainability awareness and PET collection in local communities. We want to bring it closer to our consumers so that they are able to create that habit, because admittedly we don't have that habit yet as a community, and we want to help accelerate and kickstart that one. So we recognize that the World Without Waste goal, of course, can only be achieved through partnerships and collaboration with our stakeholders. Okay, you see here a picture of us in our joint venture partner Indorama when we signed our joint venture partnership back in March 2020, just before the lockdown. And again, we're talking about the power of partnerships in fostering a circular economy. This is one of the prime examples of partnership. I mean, business partners coming into a joint venture partnership to bring a solution to the country that's not yet available, that we are looking to have a positive impact on our environment and our sustainability initiatives. So anchored on our company's global World Without Waste vision, CCBPI signed our joint venture with Indorama Ventures in March 2020, 1 week before the lockdown, to put up PETValue Philippines, the country's first bottle-to-bottle PET recycling facility. So again, we were very excited when this photo was taken 1 week before the lockdown happened. We weren't sure yet that we're going to have a lockdown, how long the lockdown was. We had our investment plan, we had our calendar, we had our Gantt chart of when the facility would be up and running. We were, of course, all taken by surprise by the turn of events. It turned out longer than we had hoped for. The lockdowns made coming in and out of the country difficult for our suppliers, our partners. But we're happy to share that in 2021, we completed the construction of PETValue, and last year, 2022, we were able to commence operations for PETValue. In the next slide, and in the next couple of slides, I will introduce to you PETValue. I'm very excited and very passionate to share this. It was very good to have James and his team from the ADB visit the facility, and for them to see the scale and how serious the investment is. So this is located in General Trias, Cavite. It's the country's first bottle-to-bottle recycling facility. Again, we were granted and we were recognized by the Philippine government, particularly the Board of Investments in 2020, as a pioneering investment. And what does it? What's its objective? So it's here really to further strengthen the circular economy or the circularity for PET plastic bottles, a packaging material that is 100% recyclable and therefore should not end up as waste in the environment. So PETValue will be able to recycle approximately 2 billion pieces of PET plastic bottles per year. And it started collection of its raw material, post-consumer PET bottles, September 2021, preparing for its start of operations last year. So this year, happy to report that it's ongoing. The collection drive is continuing. It has output already, and it's actually available for use in the Philippine market. Since we're not able to bring everybody today to PETValue, I have a short video here, which hopefully will give you a bit more idea and a glimpse into the facility. So I'll ask Cam, my colleague, to cue the video, please.
This is PETValue Philippines, a pioneering, state-of-the-art, bottle-to-bottle recycling facility. The largest and the first of its kind ever built in the country, ushering in the future for sustainable packaging by creating a circular economy, giving a new, limitless life to post-consumer clear PET plastic bottles. the most widely recycled plastic packaging in the world. Established in General Trias, Cavite, PETValue Philippines is an industry-leading facility, realized through the joint venture between the world's biggest beverage company and Indorama Ventures, a global leader in packaging solutions, recycling, and cutting-edge technology. This $2.28 billion multi-phased project aims to produce more sustainable packaging innovations, employing in its facilities the safest and most advanced world-class technologies to recycle clear PET plastic bottles through its 8-step process. PETValue Philippines transforms used PET plastics into new food-grade rPET bottles with a capacity to process up to approximately 2 billion pieces of PET plastic bottles per year. PETValue Philippines will generate more jobs for Filipinos, promote improved livelihood options in the waste value chain, and create more opportunities downstream, as well as support the circular economy in the Philippines. Closing the loop on packaging in the country, making sure that every bottle matters. The journey towards a world without waste continues here.
Okay. All right. I hope everybody enjoyed that video and you got an idea of our PETValue facility. Again, we're looking to have more people visit the facility. And then, well, based on feedback from James and his team when they visited it, they learned a lot from the processes and the technology that it has and it brought to the Philippines. So if given a chance to work with more partners, of course, you're welcome to visit PETValue. We'd be happy to host you there. Just to give an idea of the technology that we brought in. Again, this is the best that's available in the market right now. Our joint venture partner, Indorama Ventures, is a global leader in recycling, and they have a lot of recycling facilities already globally. I actually had a chance to visit their recycling facility in Thailand a couple months back. And well, when they constructed it at around 2014, 2015, according to the plant manager, it was really the best during its time. So, but when he was touring me there, and he knew that I came from the Philippines and I'm familiar with PETValue, he was really excited talking about what PETValue has and the technology that PETValue employs right now here in the Philippines. And to him, it's more like what he has in Bangkok is like a BlackBerry phone, which was the best during its time. But right now, PETValue is like the iPhone 14 of recycling facilities. So again, it brings a lot of excitement to those in the industry. So just a bit of some description here. But this is best appreciated if you go through the plant tour, of course. PETValue employs an 8-step process for its recycling process. Debaling, separation of the bottles for better sorting. So the bottles should be fed in bales, as you can see here in the photo on the upper left. So that's a baled bottle. Bale, depending on the baling machine, can be anywhere from 80 kilogram bale to 400 kilogram bale of bottles. Just to give you an idea of the volume of what 400 kilograms is. If you see those trucks going around our communities collecting PET bottles and bringing them to junk shops, those like steel caged trucks. So a full truck would carry about 500 to 600 kilograms of PET bottles. And interestingly, if you're able to bale that with a large baling machine, the large bale would be 400 kilograms already. So in terms of efficiency of transport and storage, it really helps to bale. Unfortunately, though, in the Philippines, we have not yet reached that maturity of our collection networks having baling machines as compared to other territories in Southeast Asia. So that's also an area of focus for us on how to be able to advise, share experience with the collection network, with the partners, that the benefits of baling, efficiency in logistics, which is also a big challenge. So it's fed to the manufacturing process, baled. So the first step is debaling, and then bottles are sorted, cleaning of bottles, removal of labels, sorting to remove colored PET and other plastics. Again, if you go back to the title of our community collection program, tapon to ipon, basta klaro, panalo. Sorry to those who are not familiar with Filipino, tapon to ipon is a play on words, meaning tapon, which is to throw away or discard, and ipon, which is to save or collect. So instead of throwing and discarding PET plastic bottles, we're encouraging our consumers in our communities to save and collect them because they have value. And then the second line, which is basta klaro, panalo, means basta klaro means as long as it's clear, it's a clear PET bottle, panalo is a winner. So we emphasize that the recyclable PET bottles are the clear PET bottles, because the colored PET bottles, their color contaminates the recycling process, and we cannot take out the color. And once that color is mixed with the clear PET bottles, then the output will not be clear. So you cannot use it for beverage packaging material, similar to what we have here for our bottled water product. So bottle sorting is very important. Flaking, cutting into small pieces before undergoing another round of cleaning and sanitation. Float sinking is another step, further separating PET from other types of polymers or contaminants. A second sorting process before it's actually melted, extruded, and pelletized as rPET, conversion of flakes to rPET resin. And after that, we have what we call solid state polycondensation, or SSP, to make it food grade. So all the contaminants are further taken out. The resin itself is distilled and made safe and compliant with FDA requirements for food grade use. So I'm not a technical person, but this is how a layman would, I suppose, explain this. And I hope you have a bit of an idea already of how the process is. It's all automated. Once it's fed to the debaling machine, it's all automated. Even the stripping of the label, the machines take it out. The caps are taken out in the float sinking process. So the PET plastic sinks, while the other non-PET items are excluded and discarded. So let me take this opportunity also with this slide to tell you how we'd like to take the post-consumer bottles. We are okay, and we actually prefer to take the post-consumer PET bottles, even with the labels and the caps, as long as it's crushed. And why do we say that? Because some people might think, okay, I'll give this to PETValue, but let me take out the label and the cap because they're only going to recycle clear PET. The reason for that is that if you discard the PET bottle along with the label and the cap, we're able to make sure that the labels and caps are discarded and sent to our partner recyclers who use it for other applications. So we have a better chance, a better probability that it doesn't end up as litter elsewhere, as opposed to us taking out the label and throwing it. So we're happy to take it as is. Empty, crushed is the most ideal state for the PET plastic bottle. Okay, so that's the PETValue process. No? Over the past month, since the doors of PETValue opened and the process started, we again wanted to make more partners and stakeholders aware of this, because we believe that sharing this helps spread the news that's available now in the Philippines, to make more partners interested and aware that we are here to scale up collection, because what it needs to actually keep running are those post-consumer PET bottles that you see here in the photos. So at the back of the groups there, you can see the baled PET bottles waiting in the stockyard to be used as raw material. So on the upper left photo actually is the ADB team led by James during their visit earlier this year. So again, we're very happy to share the processes, the technologies that we have, the challenges that we've faced so far in our journey. And also going back to the EPR law and the crafting of the law and how we were able to partner with the government on this. We hosted our government stakeholders, particularly Senator Cynthia Villar, who helped shape and craft our EPR law, who's very passionate about environmental stewardship. So she very much appreciated the technology and the solution that PETValue brought, as well as our host, LGU representatives, Governor John Victormulia of Cavite and Mayor John Ferrer of General Trias, where the facility is located. In the lower photo on the left column, you see us posing with a big mega sack. So that's actually the finished product already. The rPET resin that's available for use for application as food grade packaging material. So moving on to the next slide. Again, the objective of PETValue is to establish a truly circular economy around PET bottles. We've been collecting PET bottles in our communities even prior to PETValue being here. However, even if it's recycled, then if the application is not as PET bottles, then it will not go back as contributing to the circular economy. Going to this slide here, you can see here, circular economy around PET bottles, which is composed of making or manufacturing the product, selling it, using it and consuming it, collecting it, and then recycling it back as a PET packaging material. Now, over at Coke, of course, we make it and we sell it. Our consumers and our communities use and consume the product. And we've made that investment already in the recycling facility. The hardest part here, though, is the collection. And that's where we look for more partners to make it successful. Through PETValue, of course, used PET bottles can be given a new life over and over again instead of ending up as waste. But again, we have to build this circular economy around PET bottles. The finished output or the finished product of PETValue again is our PET packaging material. And over in our portfolio lineup, we mentioned earlier we have the Viva Eco bottle, we have the Sprite Clear bottle. In 2023, we will also include Coke Swacto and Wilkins Pure as part of the portfolio that uses our PET packaging material. Okay, now over to some more discussion about partnership. As we previously mentioned, CCBPI has a nationwide collection program called Tapon to Ipon Basta Claro Panalo for post-consumer clear PET plastic bottles, regardless of brand. And Tapon to Ipon aims to create awareness again about the recyclability of PET bottles and proper disposal, segregation, provide access in making sustainable and sustainability infrastructure accessible to the customers and the public through several collection points, which are near to where you go actually on a daily basis, the sari-sari stores, the key accounts, partners that we have. And it's meant to accelerate that collection because we also don't want to have the investment as a non-performing investment or asset. So Tapon to Ipon partners with our sari-sari stores and our traditional MSMEs. And these stores serve as collection hubs. So if you can see in the photo, what happens is that the consumers actually bring used PET packaging material to the stores and they get incentives in return. It's very effective for us. We've been seeing very good results. A kilo, for example, of PET would be exchanged for a Coca-Cola product. So through this, we aim to educate more of our consumers and the public on proper waste disposal and the recyclability of clear PET bottles. Again, to help create a habit of recycling. And happy to share also that when we do share this program with prospective partners, we haven't received any no's. Everybody wants to partner, and it's all a matter of reaching the destinations and the collection hubs one by one. So we have actually integrated this into our commercial units' primary goals and programs since 2 years ago, and we're just on the process of scaling it month on month. And with that, happy to share also that to date, we've activated over 700 plus hubs across the Philippines that serve as Tapon to Ipon outlets. Now, at this point, I just wanted to differentiate also that Tapon to Ipon and the collection programs of CCBPI is again meant to raise awareness and educate consumers, provide access to them to create the habit and accelerate the program. If you look at PETValue as a recycling facility, it requires more than what the Tapon to Ipon hubs will collect. So we call this internally visible collection. Tapon to Ipon is our visible collection program. It has a lot of IEC. It has a lot of incentivization for customers and value chain partners, and it's helped to create the habit and bring in more partners on the collection and recycling process. However, PETValue, for it to operate daily, it actually sources and procures its raw material or post-consumer PET bottles from the larger junk shops or aggregators all across the Philippines. So that's the main line of raw material sourcing for PETValue. And you would see that when you create programs like this and educate more consumers about the high recyclability and value of PET bottles, then the junk shop networks there would be able to collect more and improve their collection rates, because people are now more conscious of setting aside and segregating PET bottles because they are recyclable. They want to contribute to that, to the success of the program. Also with key accounts. So in the earlier slides, the preceding slides, you saw the general trade execution. We also have partnerships with key accounts or customers such as Shell, Select, hotels and resorts like Newport World Resorts, Ayala Malls, and Shakey's. For example, with Shell, we leverage our collective reach because Shell is everywhere in the Philippines to recover more PET bottles for recycling through installing collection bins at their high traffic Shell Select outlets. And then pop-up booths you see here in malls. Our pop-up booths are very, very encouraging when we go through the numbers after each execution. So a collection activity here would happen maybe between 1 to 3 days in high traffic areas to drive awareness. For example, in Ayala Malls, BGC, local fiestas, Sinulog, Nagyang, Panagbenga. And you would even get in one weekend maybe half a ton of post-consumer PET. So what works here though, based on our experience, is that we utilize the power of social media in creating awareness and a buzz, so that 3 weeks before the pop-up booth, the local festival, the partner, for example, the local government unit, the barangay, the city, the mall, would post it in their social media account that will have this, you'll get a reward. And people actually save their PET bottles and bring it to this pop-up booth. I'm about to round up our partnership programs. Just to give you another sample, is partnership with local government units to help educate people, placing these upcycled furniture in high traffic areas with IEC materials to better educate people and inform them of the recyclability of plastics packaging. Now, I'll go into a detailed example of partnership with a local government unit, particularly the one in Basco, Batanes. So back in May 2021, Basco, Batanes had a problem with the pile of trash, PET, that they had accumulated over the years in their eco center. So look at this picture in Batanes, and you'll see that this is their eco center. So again, very picturesque. There's the sea at the back. the skies, but then there's a pile of trash here. Of course, Batanes is very remote, the northernmost part of the Philippines, very heavy with tourist activity, but heavily challenged when it comes to waste management because of the remote location. So our team saw this, and then we pitched to them that we can help them with regards to PET packaging material because we are putting up a recycling facility. So at that time, PETValue was not yet operating, but we told them we're going to operate soon. We can sort out the PET, then we can transport it to Cavite, then we will recycle it back as PET packaging material. So they said yes, thankfully, and we welcome that partnership. We signed a memorandum of agreement with the local government, and we started to segregate and to collect the PET. And after shipping it to PETValue, this is how it looks like. You know, the eco center has a chance to re-green again. So again, this is a very good example of the power of partnerships towards a sustainable future and creating a circular economy around PET packaging materials. Through this partnership, we collected the municipality stockpile of post-consumer PET, approximately 10 metric tons, and it's now in Cavite for recycling. So just to wrap it up, other LGU partnerships that we have had chalked up over the past few months, the island city of Samal, again, another very, very beautiful place. So CCBPI was able to collect a total of 6.8 metric tons from the city and has been recognized for the initiative and the partnership. Davao Oriental, a 2 metric ton collection. Davao del Sur, a very good story again for us. They had a resolution back in 2020 that prohibits the use of PET packaging material. And when we learned about this, we told them about PETValue, and we told them about the program, the recycling, the collection. And with that, they studied the program, and then recently they enacted a new resolution that integrates collection and recovery program to allow FMCGs to continue to use plastics packaging material. And we're happy to share that the initial haul was 5.8 metric tons from Davao del Sur municipalities, and we actually signed a memorandum of agreement with them also. Iloilo is also on board as a province partner for us. What we'll do there is be launching more sites that will have IEC campaigns and collection. So I'm down to my last slide and happy to have some questions after this. But again, we just wanted to share that these partnerships are a testament to the vast potential of collection and recycling around PET plastic packaging here in the Philippines, creating that circular economy around PET packaging material. The successes that we've had so far only motivate us more to continue to create and foster partnerships with our stakeholders. And it powers our commitment to grow our sustainability network exponentially in the years to come. So I just want to thank you for the opportunity. Sorry it took maybe a bit longer, a few minutes longer, but we just have so much to share. And I think we have a few more minutes to take in any questions and help clarify anything. Thank you.
Mark, thank you very much for your presentation. Very, very detailed. And I think it brings out clearly the challenge of circular economy that, you know, we need these large infrastructure assets like your PETValue plant, but we also need the support network, the partnerships. You know, circular economy only works when the entire economy is working towards the same goal. And that is one of the biggest challenges of the chicken and egg. Do you build the plant? Do you source the plastics? And I mean, we're very grateful for Indorama and for Coca-Cola in taking the lead and sinking a significant investment into this plant so that the Philippines can move forward. We've got a few minutes left and some questions. So I would like to start perhaps with this one from Victor about the incentives that you put in place to enhance the collecting services. Perhaps you can give us a bit more detail. I mean, obviously your process is very well developed. You mentioned that you've not got quite enough coming in from your own Tapon Ipon activities, but perhaps a little bit about the incentives quickly, and then we'll go on to some of these others.
Okay, thank you, James, and thank you, Victor, for that question. Yeah, under the Tapon to Ipon program, we incentivize participants with Coca-Cola products. We've seen how people find value in these finished goods, in these food, in these beverage products, no? Because I think it differentiates this collection program from, let's say, just participating in and throwing it in a collection center, in the sense that for every kilo you already get a product already. You get a Coke product that you can enjoy already. Whereas if you probably brought it to a junk shop, you've accumulated a kilo, you'd probably be paid 10 pesos per kilo. And then you would have to wait for a few more kilos to actually spend that on anything that you would want to purchase. However, with this, the customer is already rewarded with a Coca-Cola product, and the store partners are actually rewarded also for their participation. They do have some work to be executed on their part. They have to weigh it, they have to log it in, and they have to store it. So for that, we also compensate them. And the whole value chain actually benefits from this. And of course, it helps create a habit and develop a cleaner environment for us. So I hope that helps. We don't have a single formula for the Tapon to Ipon incentive. So for example, in pop-up booths, the exchange ratio might be different. For a mall, it might be different. We give out Coke in can, for example, in the mall. Whereas if you go to an area where we are promoting water or pushing Coke in PET, then that's what we give. So it varies, but at the moment, what we give are Coca-Cola products.
And just on that topic, a quick question here from Edgar de Jesus. Do you buy bottles from junk shops? At what price? I mean, the price I think you don't need to share, but you know, he's talking about how can people engage with Coke? So do you buy bottles from junk shops? Can households go directly to you to sell? Is there a minimum amount you will buy? He highlights your current promo of asking people to remove the labels for the raffle code, which is a good way to get labels off bottles. But perhaps a little bit more about how people can engage with Coke and what are the methodologies for getting the bottles to you.
Okay, in terms of buying, it's actually PETValue. That's the entity that buys. As I mentioned earlier, the Coke program is the visible collection program. Whereas the volume buying, when you say buy the PET bottles as a raw material, so that's on the side of PETValue, because that is the facility that is actually put up as a recycling plant. And it buys PET from collectors in junk shops and aggregators all across the Philippines. So they buy it on a per kilo basis. The pricing is of course subject to whatever quality of the PET and the minimum order that they have. So for those who in the session who may be connected to or interested to be a supplier of PETValue, then you can reach out to me. I can connect you with the PETValue commercial team as well. However, for households, James, I would suggest you look out for the Tapon to Ipon programs that Coke executes and implements in the area nearest you. So it's a nationwide program. Just look out. You can follow our social media pages. And again, we are here to collect any brand of PET plastic packaging bottle as long as it's clear. So the households can start segregating that and set it aside and just wait for the next program. By the time, hopefully, you have a lot, and then you get more products as incentives. Or if you want to bring it to a junk shop, then the junk shop will eventually sell it to PETValue.
Great, thank you. Maria Villarreal mentions that this is an excellent example of the force of partnerships for plastic users, polluters converted to anti-polluters. Is there a specific part of your messaging that is aimed at the pollution, aimed at the education? I mean, we've talked about incentives, but what about the education part of the Tapon Ipon or some of your other activities?
I think the primary education part of Tapon to Ipon is one to inform consumers and communities that PET packaging is highly recyclable and not single use. So that's the main message there. It shouldn't end up as trash. It's actually valuable raw material for processing recycled PET, which can be used over and over and over again. So there's no limit to that. In fact, if you go back to the processing cycle that I was showing earlier, PETValue, it was formed in an infinite pattern because we wanted to tie it in with the position that PET plastic packaging material can be recycled over and over and over again. So let's not treat it as trash. And that's the main education part of the program that we would like to get across. And the second one is that what is recyclable is a clear PET bottle. So if we are asked any changes that the company should do, like what we did, shift the Sprite green bottle to clear so that it can be recycled, because the ones that are colored are not recyclable. If I can just include this here, chatting with our partners with Indorama, they always tell me, if you get the chance, please tell policymakers or those in the know that aside from colored PET bottles, the ones that are hard or cannot be recycled are the ones with the if you use a PET bottle and you actually print the label or the branding in the bottle itself instead of a label, a sticker label, then that cannot be recycled also, because technology that exists right now cannot take out the paint out of the PET plastic. So that's not recycled. And then the ones that have a full sleeve is also hard to recycle. So the technology we have available at the moment cannot recycle and end up being discarded and not used as raw material. So those are the main points, I guess. Recyclability of PET and clear PET as the recyclable type of PET.
Let's have a quick, we've got Raul Perez has his hand up. Raul, can you just very quickly, as we've got 3 minutes left,
Okay.
pass your question. Let's get Mark to answer that for us.
Yeah, I'm with the Business for Sustainable Development. My question is, did you totally give up on the 8 o'clock business, or are you just re-examining repackaging? Did it have a big hit on your bottom line?
Thanks, Raul. Yeah, we actually did exit it altogether, and yes, it does. We're taking a hit on that one. It's very popular in certain parts of the Philippines. If I'm not mistaken, in Mindanao, it actually beats the leading brand. It beats the leading brand in powdered juice drinks. What happened here? If I can just spend a minute to share the story around it. So we don't have a solution for recyclability of sachet packaging, back as sachet packaging. So we took that decision. We don't have a solution for it. And our commitment is to have our primary packaging material 100% recyclable under the World Without Waste program. And actually somebody approached, I think a couple of parties approached us because there's brand equity with 8 o'clock. So they're actually those that send feelers and queries to us. Can we just buy the brand from you? We'll continue the business. But then, we thought about it, but we thought that we would just be handing over the problems to somebody else and it would be continued. So what we did was really to exit it. So it's manufactured, it used to be manufactured in Imus, Cavite. That's the only bit of trivia. That's the only manufacturing site in the whole Coca-Cola system globally that produces powdered juice drinks. That's the only one. And now it had its last run, last 2022. So those who actually like 8 o'clock, it's a limited product already. If you want to buy your last 8 o'clock pouch, you go buy it. Because we are just exhausting what we produced since last year. And we've kept the brand. Maybe later on, if there's an opportunity for us to be able to sell it in a recyclable packaging format, it will be made available again. But in the short term, midterm, it won't be available.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. We've reached the top of the hour. For those people we haven't managed to get your questions, I do apologize. You can email us at circulareconomy@adb, and we will pass your questions on to Mark, and he will answer those after the webinar. So at that point, Mark, I would like to say thank you very much for your time, for your openness and the level of detail. It's fantastic to see Coca-Cola, Indorama leading the way with this. ADB is actively supporting companies like Indorama, like Coca-Cola, across our activity areas with investment, and we look forward to supporting that more as we move forward. So Mark, best of luck with your supply, best of luck with reaching capacity at the plant, and we look forward to welcoming you back again with more success stories. Thank you very much, everybody. Goodbye.
Thank you, James. Thank you, everyone.